his first assignment here will be Chi-Cheng Chu, who came in as a defensive replacement. We believe because of that foot discomfort that Jushin Chen was dealing with today. He is 0 for 6. Chu is so far in this Premier 12. He started the final game of group play against Cuba. And just to pick up on the conversation before about Yi Chung and what Chinese Taipei may be looking at with their bullpen, you're playing a game tomorrow. And so, given that Yi Chung has spent a lot of time as a starting pitcher, I'm not so sure that he would be available on 0 days of rest tomorrow out of the bullpen anyway. So if I'm Chinese Taipei, I just let him roll. He's already in the game. Let him keep pitching until there's a sign of serious trouble, because what I've seen out of him so far with that splitter, Team USA is going to have a hard time with it tonight.
That's into center field for a base hit by Chi-Cheng Chu. There's the first hit for him that you were talking about here in the tournament. Now Kungkwan Giligilao stepping up to the batter's box. So like you were talking about, JP, Yi Chung yesterday with just an inning and a third, here already with an inning of work. Might as well, right? I mean, you have to win. So if he is dealing, why not keep him? Now, of course, some insurance runs would be great. Here's the very dangerous Kungkwan Giligilao. That is, again, in the 5.5 hole. Second time he has done that today for Chinese Taipei. 2-man on and nobody out.
And it all sets up the man, Shi Kai Pan, who last time up struck that solo homer to right field, pointing to the fans, so appreciative of the support from the Taiwanese faithful who have come over to cheer on Team Chinese Taipei. And now a big situation. It might, in a typical case, call for a bunt.
I was going to ask you about
that. But Tony, no bunt here, because this is what he did last time up. Launched that ball over the wall in right center field. It's hard to hit the ball out of this ballpark when you talk about those deep gaps in right center. So for Chi Kai Pan, a .391 average in this tournament. No interest in a bunt here, Tony. We'll see how the manager feels about it, but no interest for me in a bunt.
You're not going to take the bat off his hands. Here stepping off the rubber there is Patton. Now, here in the 7th inning, late in the game, with a 1-run lead. Of course, you want to get more if you're Chinese Taipei. USA can score in bunches. Taking all the way there, strike one to begin the at-bat. It's a tense moment for the United States, allowing 3 runs here in this one after allowing 9 last night. As you hear the Chinese Taipei faithful. 0-1. Outside, 1-1.
We were talking last night at the broadcast, Tony, about Spencer Patton and the connection that he has to the fans here in Japan. And Tyler Maum was telling the story about how there was an autograph signing the day before the Super Round started, and fan after fan kept coming up to Spencer and feeling that connection to his years pitching at NPB. And the reason why Spencer really spent the time to get to know the community here in the Tokyo area with his family. They didn't just play here for a period of time, they really invested their time and their hearts in the community, and they were rewarded with extraordinary relationships that will transcend whatever uniform you're wearing at a particular time. So this ballpark, this country, in many ways feels like a second home for Spencer Patton and his family.
With the Yokohama Bay Stars back in 2017 up until 2020. And here in a big hole with 2 runners on and nobody out. So, okay, you have him at 1-2 now. It's easier said than done, but what's the approach here? Obviously, you don't want to put him on, but you don't want to give him anything either to hit.
I think in this case, you're trying to stay on the outer part of the plate. Spencer has a number of different options. He could go change up away, backdoor cutter slider, but I'm staying away from the inner half of the plate.
The 1-2. Boy, that missed, says the umpire. 2-2.
He was asking about it. Was that ball away? That was an excellent pitcher's pitch. He did precisely what we just talked about. That was a changeup on the outer corner of the plate. I thought he had potentially earned the call, but instead, another high-pressure 2-2 pitch to Pod.
Foul back. We'll do it again. Now the infield somewhat in a shift, and you can say it. Shortstop Carson Williams a few steps towards second base, but right after every pitch, he kind of cheats a little bit towards the other side. Of course, the ground ball to the right will be great for a double play opportunity there.
Pod is now looking up. That last pitch was a two-seamer that ran up and away. I'd like to see something down here at 2-2.
There it is, but plate discipline, and now an interesting scenario here with a full count. Nobody out. Has to be some action in the USA bullpen. Of course, a reminder, the bullpens here at Tokyo Dome, they're behind and inside the dugout where the locker rooms are, just a few steps back, so they're not traditionally in the outfield or on the foul ground on the field. Here's the 3-2 delivery up high, and the bases are loaded with nobody out for Chinese Taipei.
The big pitch of that at-bat was the 1-2 that just missed. And that flipped the count leverage back to neutral, and eventually, as Mike Scioscia's talked about, back up the middle and on the corners. That gesture that you saw from Mike Scioscia a moment ago was telling the middle infield that we're going to concede the run and play back for a double play, but at the corners for Shaw and Ritter, they're going to play in and look for the force out at home with a very good contact hitter in Kunyu Chang at the plate.
250 hitter here from the right side of the plate. Huge spot. Taking ball one. A bit too much on the outer part of the plate. That's swept a bit.
Chang is a fan favorite who might become even more so with a base hit here.
Bases loaded jam for Patton. Nobody out. 3-2 ball game. That's in there for a strike. Huge strike at 1-1 now for Kunyu Chang, who singled in the second, struck out in the third, then grounded to second base in the fifth.
Nice firm fastball from Patton to begin this crucial at-bat.
The kick, the delivery, swing and a miss. He seemed to get a piece of that one, but still 1-2.
Really good sequencing there from Patton and McIver to go from fastball to that changeup down. And now Patton can expand the zone a little bit. He's ahead 0-2. I'd like to see something spinning, a sweeper or a slider over the outside corner, try to generate some weak contact.
Here's the 1-2. Swing on to center. Going over there is Crawford. He's never gonna get it, and rolls all the way to the wall. One run is in, another run is in. They'll send another one. It's a triple that clears the bases for Kunyu Chang. 3 more for Chinese Taipei. It's 6-2.
Kunyu Chang, damage in an 0-2 count. That 0-2 pitch, I'm sure the U.S. would love to have it back. It gets way too much of the plate, and Chung is able to send it into the gap. 0-2, you saw Patton grimace as soon as he made contact. He knew that was over the heart of the plate, and a great swing from Chang into the right center gap. Even Crawford, as well as he runs, he wasn't going to be able to get it. And Chinese Taipei opens up a 6-2 lead, and it's now going to be 7-2.
To right field. It's a 5-run lead. And they are going bananas in the Tokyo Dome.
Great at-bats from Chinese Taipei throughout this inning. And let's look at the big picture here, Tony. This inning begins with their best player and best hitter, Jishin Chen, on the bench after he was lifted because of the hit-by-pitch that he took. And what do his teammates do? Single, single, walk, triple, single. Impressive at-bats throughout. Big swings in 2-strike counts. There's a look at Zhang wearing the chain. Chinese Taipei. This team is having a good time. Their fans who have traveled here are delighted. And the U.S., their gold medal hopes are now beginning to wane. A 5-run deficit in the 7th inning. Mike Scioscia's pitching depth is being tested. McIver and Patton trying to strategize. But this is not at all the way the Americans drew it up. It was a tightly contested game. We saw the home run in the 5th inning from Thomas to draw them closer. They had a chance to tie it in the 6th with a 2-out base runner. Simpson flew out, and now in the 7th, Chinese Taipei has reclaimed momentum, to say the very least. 13 hits, 7 runs for Chinese Taipei already, and we're now in the 7th inning.
They lacked clutch hitting yesterday. Here, it started off shaky, but they've done it so far when it mattered. Now for Jia Shenglin with a runner at first. Still nobody out here in the 7th inning. A nice crowd in attendance here in the Tokyo Dome. You see the frustration from Patton still on the mound there. Throwing to first just to keep the runner true there at first base. This is also huge, just me going a bit forward for run differential after dropping that game against Venezuela for Chinese Taipei 2-0. Here, it's nice for them to get to 7 runs, even though they've allowed 2. They're at +3 just in case we see a tie. There goes the runner, and that is ripped to left, and that's gonna fall for a base hit. Another single. Chinese Taipei is all over USA pitching in this inning.
Well, you mentioned it, Tony. Projecting ahead, and Mike Scioscia making his way out to the mound. This is going to be the end of the day for Patton. When we come back, we'll get into some of these situations and scenarios that could be coming up this weekend as Chinese Taipei, a 5-run advantage, looking for more. Still no one out in the 7th inning.
We'll step aside, pitching change. It's 7-2 Chinese Taipei.
Now all the man for your team USA, number 31, Eric Osler.
アメリカ代表ピッチャーの交代をお知らせいたします。8分を変わりまして、ピッチャーアドラー、背番号31。
New pitcher for the United States. It's Eric Adler in a tough spot with 2 runners on, nobody out, already down 5 runs here in the 7th.
A look at Spencer Patton in the U.S. dugout. Certainly disappointing for him. This tournament, pitching here at the Tokyo Dome, means so much to him. A homecoming of sorts. The 7th inning has unraveled. 4 runs already for Chinese Taipei. Eric Adler now on the mound, the native of Melbourne, Florida, and a minor leaguer in the Chicago White Sox organization. We were chatting a moment ago about the different scenarios, and Chinese Taipei, should they win today, will become fans tonight of Team Venezuela, who faces Team Japan. And here's why. If Venezuela is able to defeat Japan, which is a pretty big if. No one's defeated Japan in 5 years. But if that happens, then Japan would be 1-1, and Chinese Taipei would be 1-1, setting up the game tomorrow night for the chance potentially to be in the gold medal game if Venezuela should defeat the U.S. So if Venezuela wins tonight and then it wins tomorrow, the game tomorrow night would be for a clear path directly to play Venezuela for the gold medal. And Tony, can you imagine what that sound will be tomorrow night if it's Chinese Taipei versus Japan for all of the chances to get into that gold medal game? But again, that only happens under those circumstances if Venezuela wins tonight and then comes back and beats the U.S. tomorrow afternoon.
Another bunt that goes foul, and I will go out on a limb here and say that if there is, at least so far, a team that has showed the muscle to at least try and have a chance, a legitimate chance to beat Japan, for what we've seen so far, it has to be Venezuela, at least from their pitching and clutch and power hitting. Of course, we will find out more about that tonight. Tyler Mann and Ryan Rowland-Smith for that one on the call. Here's the 2-2 to Xiang that skips in there, and a full count again with 2 runners on and nobody out.
Instead, Tony, if it ends up being a situation where, let's say hypothetically, you have 3 teams at 2-1 and 1 team at 0-3, and then tomorrow night you'll be getting your calculator out as the game is going on for the TQB and the tiebreaker. And remember, if that's the case, the run differential is swing and a miss first out of the inning, that you would only have the run differential and the efficiency quotients for the tied teams among the games of the tied teams. So in that case, the 9-1 lopsided win for Japan over the U.S. and what is an increasingly comfortable lead for Chinese Taipei against the Americans, these run differentials would not count, but that 2-0 game from yesterday would. So a lot of things still at stake, and all we can say with certainty right now is that Chinese Taipei is boosting their gold medal hopes with the way they're playing here today.
Oh yes, they are. And here is Shen Wei-Shen. Already has a triple RBI for him in the 4th. Looking for more here against Alder. Chop to second. A tough play for Johnson. He cannot make it. He charged the ball, and after that funny hop at the end, couldn't quite secure it, and it's another bases loaded scenario for Chinese Taipei.
Tamar Johnson has worked so much on his defense. This is a tough play and a tough hop. And remember, we don't often see U.S. teams playing on turf. Frustration from Tamar. Such a great young man, and has really put a lot of work in on the defensive side of the game. It was a tough, tough play that now puts the bases loaded.
First pitch swinging, and that's a strike. Lin in the batter's box.
Johnson's 2nd error in as many games. It's up on the board as an error. And now now Li Lin, with already a home run to his credit in this tournament, up with the bases loaded.
That's outside. 1-1 now. Yesterday it got weird for USA towards the end. 3 innings of 3 runs for Japan. Putting in evidence we were talking about USA pitching. This time towards the end again, a struggle. Slow roller to short. Williams to second to 1. To throw to first. He is safe. Another run scores. That's the second out of the inning. Kind of a high throw to second by Williams that maybe had an effect on the relay to first.
That's a good observation, Tony. That was a high toss from Williams. This needs to be a double play. And I think it was the somewhat delayed flip from Williams to Johnson and the misplay earlier from Tamar now costing 1 more run. It's 8-2 in favor of Chinese Taipei.
It's not pretty in the scoreboard, and again, the man that started it all here with a big cut there and a miss. Shi Shanshu, like you pointed out, coming into the game to play the outfield because of the injury of probably Chinese Taipei's best player so far, Chia Xianqin. He got it all started with a single, and now a second time batting here, going to second and getting in there safely is Li Lin. So now another runner in scoring position for Chinese Taipei.
Our viewers at home might say, why are we seeing stolen bases this late in the game with a 6-run lead? And the answer is the tiebreaker. Every run, every stolen base, everything you put on the board becomes part of your TQB, and you can't be too sure about how things are going to play out. So that's why you keep playing, keep stealing bases, keep trying to put runs across, because it is always to your advantage. And let's not forget this too. Team Chinese Taipei, if you bank a couple runs here with a base hit, it's 10-2, and early termination becomes possible, and you do not have to pitch potentially. You can avoid having to pitch the 9th inning.
Ground ball to third. This should do it in the inning, and it does after that. Matt Shaw throw to first. They bring 10 to the plate. They scored 5 more times. Chinese Taipei giving their faithful a lot to cheer for. Middle of the 7th, it's 8-2.